Right, this is just a quick walk around video for a Lexus SC430. This is actually my own personal car, one I've been driving for a couple of thousand miles now, more of which in the following road test video, but just to give the game away, it drives absolutely beautifully. The car's in fantastic condition, it really is. All the lenses on the front there, including the fog lights low down, no cracks or marks on them at all. Front is incredibly free of stone chipping. It's not the ideal day today, unfortunately, but due to pressure to get as many videos done as I possibly can, I unfortunately can't pick and choose the weather. But the reason I picked this one is because it is so clean. The rain's not going to be hiding anything of any note at all. All four tyres got tons of tread, all four alloys in really lovely condition. Looks like someone's clearly given those a refurb at some point. But the panels of the car, this is the off side of the vehicle, absolutely clean as a whistle. There's no indentations, car parking dents or otherwise on there. Coming around the back of the car, obviously got the hood up at the moment, roof up rather, not hood, roof up, and obviously I'll lower that down in a second in the video. Obviously cold morning this morning, so there's a bit of condensation with the engine running, so nothing to be concerned about. It's just a crisp, lovely morning actually, even if it is a bit dull. Then down the side again, clean as a whistle down the flanks, no indentations. Alloys again on the side, absolutely lovely, and I said all four wheels in absolutely super condition. It's a really good looking car, very different obviously to most cars on the road, and all the better for that. It's just something a little bit different but unique, and it's just a wonderful engine size for this type of car. Beautifully refined as well. Alright, so inside the car now, obviously the engine's running as it has been all the way through. Worth pointing out, the engine always sounds a lot noisier on the videos than it does when you're actually in and stood by the car. But a glorious interior on the car, absolutely, as I said, really unique, really nicely done. Obviously sat-nav system there as well, fully operational, as is the climate control system. But it's just so beautifully made, beautifully designed. It's just a fabulous car. If you want to sort of dominate the dashboard with lots of wood, then you can press that button there, close that one over, and likewise on this one down here as well. So then it sort of just changes the architecture of the dashboard there. But it really is a fabulous looking dashboard. Just going to pan in here just to show you, it is now up to 61,200 miles. Obviously I am driving the car currently. As I said in the following road test video, I am brutally honest about these cars. If there's any issues, just to show you there, you can see two lights on the dashboard, nothing major, so don't worry. The one at the bottom there is a tyre pressure warning light. These run sensors to check the tyre pressures, and the sensors for the front tyres are in the boot, so obviously someone's taken them out because they're a pain in the neck. But they are there. Whether they're operational or not, I don't know. I doubt it, because obviously they've been taken off. You just have to drive and check your tyre pressures, or you can get new sensors and give Lexus loads of money. The one at the top is actually a headlamp adjustment warning light. Went through MOT without any problems at all, but that light is on, and it's, again, I think from memory, it's a little bracket on the rear suspension that measures the ride height of the car. But given the price I'm selling the car at, that isn't something I'll be attending to in the price. I've been driving the car perfectly happily as it is. But obviously something we could look into if needs be, and give you a price. But the car is in beautiful condition, drives absolutely sensationally well. Just drop the roof down for you, just show it's all working. So you've got an open and close button here. So to open the roof, just press that. Hopefully I won't get soaking wet, because the roof will be wet, so please don't fall on my head. There you go. It goes up absolutely beautiful. I'll show it going down in a second as well. So while the roof's down, now just a quick opportunity just to go around the car to show you, obviously with the roof down, as it obviously changes the whole look of the vehicle, as you'd appreciate. Worth pointing out that they are officially 2+2s, but the reality is, who on earth is going to sit in there? It's there. Don't know why they bother wasting space with those rear seats, but they do it. but you know, it is a fabulous looking car. Interior and exterior colours, very classic Lexus, very colour sensitive, and this suits the car absolutely beautifully. There's very few cars that make you feel special this day and age, and this is definitely one of them. So back in the car now, just going to put the roof back up, just show it all working. So go back again. Try not to take my head off while I do this because I'm going to set it at a weird angle. Oops, sorry. And then press the button again if you want to lock the windows. They are all fully operational. So finally, just to come to the service book of the vehicle, wonderful, wonderful history on the car. I've got services at 4,800, 9,500, 12,400, 19,700, 24,000. Those were all Lexus, and then we go independent, quite obviously. 32,000, 39,000, 45,000, 53,000 and 58,000 miles. This is a road test for a Lexus SC430 convertible. This particular car is registered MK55OCG. Mileage at the start of this brief road test is 61,174 miles. The reason we do the road tests, as I say in all of them, is basically we're selling now to customers from all over the near continent and the whole of the UK, and we just want people to see our cars in operation prior to them to come to see us. So if there's any issues, I can sort of relay those to you. Just quickly point out, this is not always the case clearly, but in this particular case this is actually my own car, so it's a car I'm using on a daily basis, so I've got kind of intimate knowledge of it, how it drives and everything else, so hopefully I can sort of give you some feedback on that as well. This one replaces an LS430 that I had. I love this engine, it's a wonderful unit. It's just nice to have something a little bit different for a change, I guess. But onto the car. The car itself, I mean, the engine is, you know, it's very low mileage, it's been beautifully serviced. Engine just pulls beautifully, starts utterly silently, revs just fantastically well. It's just such a sweet revving engine. So the rustling you can hear in the background, well, hopefully you can't, is my lunch actually in a plastic bag, but there we go, which is rather annoying given how quiet the car is. That's all you can probably hear. But no, the engine is absolutely brilliant. It's sweet revving. There's no warning lights on the dashboard. It just pulls beautifully and strongly all through the rev range, and is a wonderful example of an absolutely superb engine. Engine goes through to the automatic gearbox, true Lexus style. You know, it's just, they do auto boxes just so well. Perfectly matched to the engine. Wonderfully spaced gear ratios. Very eager and keen to kick down. Responds really well. And as I said, it matches the gearbox, the engine absolutely superbly. There's not an ounce of wear in the gearbox. You know, as soon as you select drive from neutral, even at cold, there's no delays, there's no thumps, there's no noises. There's just genuinely just no detectable wear in them. I mean, they're designed for absolutely massive mileages. So this one by that is barely running, in all honesty. But the actual changes themselves, is that just like there and there, they're all but imperceptible. It's a, as I said, it's a beautifully engineered car. It really is. Having driven the car now probably about 1,500 miles or so since I've had the car, just struck, for a car that's had a kind of hole chopped in its roof, in effect, they can lose their rigidity, and that means over 10-11 years of even relatively low miles, that can manifest itself in a few sort of creaks and groans in cars. And I've driven kind of similar vintage BMW, Mercedes convertibles, and they moan and groan after a period of time. This is built just so well. It's unbelievably solid. There's not a squeak or a rattle for the interior. The hood mechanism works as day one. Steering the car just absolutely bullet straight. There's no vibrations coming back to the steering wheel that shouldn't be there. It's just, really, it's amazing the lack of wear that sort of comes through into these vehicles. The ride's very well judged. I was actually initially put off buying one of these because I remember reading I shouldn't ever believe them, but there you go. A road report that said, they didn't know what Lexus were trying to achieve. The ride was fidgety or too firm. Absolute garbage. It rides beautifully well, and over these surfaces, which are pretty horrible actually, there's not much between it and the LS430, which is obviously clearly a pure luxury car. This isn't a sports car. Don't think for a second it is. Handles well, it drives well. It doesn't float around corners. It goes around with good precision and control. But it's a tourer. It's a wonderful, wonderful car to sit in and do that in. Also, as I drive along, just listening out for kind of wind noises that shouldn't really be there, kind of wind hisses or something. You get the odd tiny little bit of wind noise from the car, but minuscule, because everything else is so silent. So you're kind of listening out for just around the wing mirrors there. You just hear a little bit of, if the wind's in the wrong direction. But it's so muted. I drove to Donington and back recently, up and down the motorways, and it's one of the quietest motorway cars I've ever driven, and utterly effortless. Brakes on the car, rock solid, absolutely rock solid. There's no hint of any wear in them. There's no pulsing, no vibration, no distortion coming back through. As I said, the rider car's beautiful, but there's no noises underneath that suggest there's any inherent wear in the suspension. And over 10 years, you normally get a little bit of chatter from kind of drop links or suspension struts, but it just feels just wonderfully solid. Inside the car, all in lovely condition. I love the interior on these things. It's done very well, but obviously it's a big specification car. Everything I've pressed thus far has worked absolutely fine. You've got your sat nav up there working absolutely perfectly. If you don't want that display, you press the button there, and then you can get rid of that, and it fills it up with a big lump of false wood, but it looks actually really good. Climate control system again works absolutely perfectly, pumping out ice cold air, and the radio CD system, multiplay system again works absolutely spot on. Very good sound quality. Again, given how quiet the car is, it's very important, so there's no sort of naughty distortion or otherwise. But it all works beautifully, and again, if you just press a button there, you can get rid of that, so you can just have a kind of a hidden display apart from the ventilation there. All the buttons are pressed. Cruise control works perfectly. I use that constantly on the trip back in those dreadful 50-mile-an-hour limits. The dashboard's in lovely order. The only thing I would say on this car, it's apparently quite common on these cars. Nothing I'm going to do anything about because there's no point. I've got the little tyre pressure warning light on, which I've checked all the tyre pressures are absolutely fine. Gone on the forums. On my LS430, there's a kind of a hidden switch underneath for reset, and apparently there isn't one on this car, which is a really stupid thing of Lexus to have done. But the pressures are all perfect. There's nothing wrong with them. And I'm not going to take it to Lexus for them to rob me of money to get a light extinguished on the dashboard, which doesn't bother me or faze me or affect the car in any way. But it is there, and I said I'm brutally honest about these test drives. If there's anything on it, I will tell you, and that's there. But that's it. The car drives absolutely beautifully. Hopefully, after I've done this road test, which will ironically come before this road test, so it's pointless me saying it really. But the roof works beautifully. But I'll show that in an external video of the car as well. But looking at the temperature gauge here as well, it's just under half, which is exactly where it wants to be on a Lexus at operating temperature. All the gauges work absolutely superbly. you know, as I said, as you'd expect, but it's just nice to know. But there's not many cars, in all honesty, that really are as comfortable as this, feel as beautifully put together as this, can kind of waft you along in a slightly old-fashioned way. It's lovely. So it's almost sort of, I don't know, it's very pleasant place to sit and drive a car. You know, there's loads of cliches and sales blurb that you can attach to these things, but you know, every now and again you jump in a car and it just is nice and comfortable. But when you're on the open road, you don't feel as though it's lacking. It doesn't flop around. It doesn't feel like a convertible in that sense, unless you've got the roof down. So there's no compromise with the rigidity of the car. But also it's got exactly the right amount of power. You know, it's not uncontrollable, it's not snarly, it's just put your foot down and it flies past traffic. But it's just so unruffled. It's wonderful. But the point of this video really was just to show you the car in operation. You know, as I said, given my experience with the car, which is more than I'd normally have on our cars, clearly, you know, I can say, hand on heart, it drives absolutely beautifully. And whoever gets to be the next owner or driver of the car is going to be a very lucky person indeed, because this is a very nicely done one, looked after one, full UK model, not some import. But it's you know, if I've missed anything clearly on the video, don't hesitate, please give me a call. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.